Hello, Seiiti Arata. So in recent videos in our series, we have explored the concepts of failure and success. And now I ask you, so what is success and what is failure? Do you consider yourself to be a successful person? Let me share some stories with you first, some stories of failure. Albert Einstein could not even speak properly at the age of 4, and his teachers thought that he would never learn anything important in life. Gisele Bündchen was rejected by several agencies until she became the highest paid model in the world. And Walt Disney was fired from his job at the newspaper because they thought he had no imagination or creative ideas. And at the age of 30, Steve Jobs was kicked out of the company he had founded. Not only that, J.K. Rowling was divorced and unemployed, and numerous publishers had rejected the Harry Potter manuscript. And she says, it is impossible to live a life without failure unless you choose such a cautious path that it might be even difficult to tell if you actually lived. The person who has never failed has already made a failure. The failure is never trying anything really important. Failure can be a teacher. You can learn that you have more willpower and more discipline than you imagine. Failure is part of the path to success. We all go through moments of shame and frustration and injustice and anger in our lives. Successful people and unsuccessful people deal with this differently. You don't want to look at the present situation whenever there is an obstacle and think that will always be like this. No. You want to develop your ability to visualize a point in the future that is still being built. This vision is very important. And we even discuss about this in the series Productivity Arata in episode number 38. You can go to arata.se/PE38. People with a failure mentality will take all the problems and criticisms and difficulties personally. They will mentally relive these unpleasant situations, and thus they reinforce this memory. Use your brain differently for greater success. How does memory work? Memory does not exist in one single spot in your brain. It is not possible to locate the reminder of an unpleasant event and then undergo microscopic surgery to remove that small piece of gray matter from your brain that stores that information. No. Memory is found in a series of relationships between the neurons in different regions of the brain. In neuroscience, we call this long-term potentiation. This is strengthening the synapses by repeating patterns of neuroactivity as you constantly remember that event over and over. The more you are reliving that mental movie of unpleasant events of the past, the stronger it gets because there is this potentiation of the associated neural networks. It is almost as if you are studying or cementing that memory so it stays in your head forever. Confident people don't waste time with this type of thinking. They don't put this type of negative memory into their personal collection. They don't study those events. They quickly forget these unpleasant experiences. And this is the change that you can implement. You need to spend more time thinking about ways to implement your success strategy. You also want to reduce the amount of time that you spend thinking about the problems and the mistakes of the past. In the Better New Year course, we carry out various practices so you can understand the psychology behind the functioning of our brains. You will learn how to reprogram your mind to strengthen the commitment to activities that bring results, and at the same time, spend less time reliving those situations of past frustration. And you can visit our course at arata.se/Better New Year. Control your negative thoughts quickly. In the previous episode, we talked about how to eliminate negative thoughts. You probably saw the video last week at arata.se/Hello74 under the title How to Eliminate Negative Thoughts. Negative thoughts will cause weariness, a loss of vitality through frustration and anger, indignation, and feelings of inferiority, not to mention the amount of time that is wasted that could be used more constructively. When you catch yourself re-watching that mental movie of unpleasant situations, remember this: stop everything. Instead of spending the next few seconds thinking about that bad situation, how horrible it was, just think, what can you be grateful for? You want to end negative thinking quickly before it turns into a monster. People create their own horror stories inside their own heads. Sometimes an unpleasant event, which is not such a big deal, like a frustrating vacation or a bad investment or a disappointing relationship, ends up being repeated several and several times until it becomes a constant topic for being discussed day after day after day. There are people who have gone unimaginable abuses, such as the concentration camps, and yet they managed to overcome those experiences by focusing on what they could do in the future, what could they bring about in the future. This is what we call search for meaning. Use the power of gratitude to reverse the course of your thoughts. For Dr. Murali Doraiswamy, who is a specialist on brain imaging and Alzheimer's disease, gratitude is the best way to maintain overall health and well-being. And individuals who express gratitude are better able to cope with stress. And they have less anxiety and better relationships. Their cortisol and oxytocin, which are important brain chemicals, are at healthier levels. They sleep better. They reason better. They have more stable levels of serotonin. They live longer and have better heart function, blood pressure, and blood sugar control. If you are thinking that gratitude is unlikely to change the way you deal with destructive thoughts, take a look at the Better New Year course to learn how to define what is important to you and how to find your purpose. You can find the link at arata.se/Better New Year. And let's now go to the end of the video where I'll share a practical tip with you. A practical way to develop the ability to reinterpret your life is with a gratitude diary. Every day, you open a new page and then you write something for which you feel grateful. This brings you a lot of benefits, but it is beyond the focus of this video to go into too much detail. If you are a Better New Year student, you can log into the students area, and then over there you'll see that we have a new bonus video in which I share the way that I use to exercise that gratitude. And if you don't have yet access to the Better New Year course, you can go to arata.se/Better New Year.